Okay, we're going to practice the first standing posture in hypopressives. So this is called Athena, or standing pose works. What we are going to start with is standing with our feet hip width apart, knees soft. So one thing you're going to want to check to see is if you like to lock your knees, that changes the tension and that alignment of your pelvis. So again, going back to our domes, that's a really easy way to soften your knees. It'll help relax the pelvis. We're going to bring our arms up into our posture. So we have palms facing away from us. And I always like to imagine that there's like a big beach ball or a big soap bubble in your arms. So we're trying to create some tension in the arms like a guitar string. So not too much, not too little, just the right amount. So for example, if we go really rigid, okay, that's too much tension. Again, tension to task, we're looking for that in between. If we're really soft and loose with our arms, we're also not going to engage enough muscles that we want to help with your breathing. So a nice moderate amount of tension, palms away from us, and fingertips are roughly in line with your shoulders. Okay, now you can come up all the way to about shoulder height with this standing, or a little bit lower, whatever feels most comfortable. In hypopressives, now we're going to start to work on our nice diaphragmatic breathing. This means that we need to relax your belly, and we're going to allow the rib cage to expand all the way around, not just into the belly, not just into the sides, but also into the back. I like to think of the rib cage like an umbrella. So you want that umbrella to open all the way. So we're going to practice 3 breaths where we inhale. And when we exhale, we think about being tall and growing from the center of our head. We inhale into the rib cage, let our bellies soften, and exhale, we grow slowly and softly, letting that breath out. We inhale a 3rd time. We exhale and grow softly and slowly, maintaining that posture. We hold our breath and we draw the ribs open for an apnea, keeping the belly soft and relaxed because it's the ribs that are doing all the work. Inhaling when we need to, and then exhaling. So this is our first posture that you can practice, is the standing pose. Couple things to make sure is that your weight isn't all on your heels or all on your toes. You want to make sure your feet are grounded into the floor. That'll help keep your pelvis in line with your rib cage. If you feel like you're standing arched, this is where your breath is going to start to help improve that alignment. And your eyes are looking straight ahead. That'll help keep your head in line.
Awesome.
Okay.
And then pose 2. So we're doing
Bent over.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. So actually,
yeah, how do you want me to?
where were you standing? Actually, we'll go sideways because it's important that you can see.
Like this?
Yeah. So you can put your arms up in standing. So second pose after standing, it's a really easy transition into a bent over position. So you're going to hinge the hips back a little bit and bring your hands down to your thighs. Now in this bent over position, you kind of want to find an angle that feels good for your body. If you're having any back pain, play with it. Or if your back is too tight, maybe you skip this particular posture. But the key is you want to see that alignment from pelvis and rib cage and diaphragm and head, so that we're not looking too far down. It's really common. People will keep their eyes looking up, and then all of a sudden your head is not in line with the rest of your body. So keeping that head, chin tucked, we're going to apply the same thing where we're going to inhale. I always say, think about breathing into your bra strap, but let your belly relax. This is really important to practice softening your belly, letting go of belly tension when you inhale. Okay. Then when you exhale, you think about this growing, like a string is pulling you from the top of your head. You're going to inhale the 3rd breath, belly relaxes and softens. Exhale, you lengthen and grow. You're going to hold your breath and you're going to slowly draw those ribs open, just like you were taking a breath, but you're still holding it. Then you'll inhale when you need to, and then you'll exhale. And that is 1 cycle in the bent over position.
Okay, awesome.
Okay.
And just make sure I'm still.
I was gonna say, hopefully we're still.
No, we're still good.
Okay.
That's like lots of room. I haven't zoomed out. So.
Okay. Okay.
And we can always push this back.
Okay, I love the lying down posture for the hypopressives. It's really good. We take pressure off of our pelvic floor when we're lying down. But there are a couple things that I want you to pay attention to. So our 3 domes still matter. So common in postpartum is you're going to find yourself arching your back or rib flaring. How to adjust for that is actually by moving your legs. It's usually easier than trying to tuck and make your, like, force your alignment. So what you want to do is flex your feet first of all, so only your heels are touching, and then you're going to adjust your legs, either more bent or more straight, kind of depends. A really good way is for you to actually take your hand and place it on your pelvis. So you feel your pubic bone and your hip bone and sort of make like a triangle with your hands. And that should feel flat and level. So it shouldn't feel, if we think of like tipped one way or tipped the other way. And the best way to adjust that, like I said, is move your legs. Once you feel like you're there, it's just going to make the breath feel easier so that it's easier to get into that full rib cage, back breath, side breath, as opposed to feeling like you're only able to breathe into your belly. When you feel like you're there, you're going to put your arms up into that similar position that we had when we were in our standing posture. We're going to still do our 3 breaths. So we're going to focus on inhaling into the ribs, relaxing the belly so you shouldn't feel like you're pushing into the belly, and slowly, softly exhale. We inhale, 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 and then we softly exhale, still thinking of that lengthening. The string is pulling you gently from your top of your head. Inhaling, and then softly exhale, exhale, exhale. We hold our breath after 3 breaths and we draw the ribs open for the apnea. Again, relax the belly, let the rib cage open. Inhaling when you need to, and exhaling. Probably one of the most challenging things for most people when they're learning the hypopressive breath is to relax your belly. We don't need tension, we're just working on our breath. This is, if we think of our attention to task, we're not creating a core contraction. We're letting our breath drive everything. You need to relax your belly, especially for that apnea, because if you are trying to flex your abdominals, all of your abdominals attach to your rib cage. So if they're tight, your ribs can't move, which means you can't get into that nice breath, which means you can't do the apnea and open up. So really work on just softening the belly and focusing on your breath.